Tuesday, May 30th, 2017. Monaco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. So next week on Thursday, June 8th, is the UK general election. Does it really matter who you vote for or who wins? I don't think so. In the long term, the UK government and the UK as a whole is heavily indebted, and there are two outcomes there are only two outcomes that are possible. Either the UK government and the public or the corporations will eventually default on their huge debts, or the government will be able to print its way out of trouble by basically defaulting through inflation and debasement of the currency, which is pretty much what's been happening since 2008. Back in 07, I think, the pound got up to $2.11, and right now we're below 130. So we've had, in 10 years, the pound's dropped from 211 to like 128. That's a huge drop. That's the only way, the only reason why the UK economy is still functioning, and also the government has been able to keep, with the Bank of England's help and other central banks' help, they've been able to keep interest rates almost near zero. Even long-term rates are like 2% or less than 2%. So the government is actually indebted itself even more. We've gone from about 800 billion after the Labour government lost power in 2010 to now 1.6 trillion in debt. That's just a public national debt. Also, as a percentage of GDP now, UK debt, including corporate, personal, and government, is 900% of GDP, which is pretty much where Germany was prior to the Weimar hyperinflation. And I have to admit, though, that the UK as a whole has a lot of foreign investments that, kind of counterbalance that debt. But still, right now, global assets, financial assets are quite elevated. So that's why, the UK's balance sheet is still functioning. But if there is some kind of crisis, the UK debt will not decrease. It will still be, as high as it's now. That's the problem with debt. Unlike, debt doesn't shrink, even though, assets can shrink. And the reason why I'm talking about this is because one of the viewers sent me a link to a video. And this video actually, I have to admit, came in 2012. And it's from Money Week magazine in the UK, which is it's not really a mainstream economics or money magazine. I subscribed to it in the past. I don't anymore. They're owned by Agora Financial, Bill Bonner's company. And they're published here in the UK, Money Week. And they published a documentary about 46 minutes. I'll put the link to this documentary in the video and also in the card above. It's called The Fall of the British Empire, The End of the UK Economy, and that was 5 years ago. Of course, we're still here. The economy is still moving along. The debt is even bigger than it was. Interest rates are still been able to, they've been able to keep it low, because as they say in the video, interest rates start rising quickly. It's the death knell for the UK economy, the government. And why do I say it doesn't matter who you vote for or who wins next week? Well, it's because no matter what happens politically, the financial problem will always be there. Maybe the Conservative Party or the Tories will be able to manage the crisis through a longer term. They'll, really keep the financial repression going. The gradually debasing, you know, the currency, keeping interest rates relatively low, you know, smoke and mirrors, statistics, or if the Labour Party win and Jeremy Corbyn changes, you know, economic policy and veers towards a leftist policy of even more government spending, even more bigger government, more taxation, I think it could trigger the crisis, you know, and make it a lot quicker than it will be under a conservative government. That might even be a good thing, you know. We could see this big debt bubble in the UK burst, you know, very quickly. It will be very painful, but it will be protracted. It will not be like what they've had in Japan, you know, for over 25 years of stagnation, deflation, and that could be the course forward with the conservatives. Maybe not, but I don't think anything else matters. And the gist of it in this video, and I've talked about this before, is the welfare state. You know, they go on, they talk about how the welfare state started in the UK, and it was in 1909 when the government decided to give a state pension to any man over the age of 70. And back then, average life expectancy was 48 years old. So it was like giving a state pension to someone nowadays at 115 years old. You know, it was a nice gesture back then, and it didn't cost them any money, but it got the ball rolling on the welfare state. And then it talks about this video about how, you know, at the end of World War II, the welfare state became even greater. You know, it was pushed politically because, you know, we'd won the war. We have to try to keep fascism, you know, communism at bay. We need to institute a welfare state. We got to give back to the, you know, a little bit to the people who fought the war for the state. So they created the National Health Service, national insurance, all these programs. And, you know, politicians realized that they won a lot more votes if they promised more and if they gave more in terms of welfare. And it's been impossible to, you know, rein back the welfare state because people have gotten used to it. You know, they want their welfare state. If you try to, you know, rein back or rein in the welfare state, it's the end of, you know, your political career or end of a political party. So even though it started in 1909 when Britain was still, you know, the British Empire, and it was a small gesture, it kind of has led to where we're now, where, you know, it's a problem. It's very difficult to get out of. The only way to get out of it will be, you know, I think it will be the hard way, unfortunately. It will be through a great collapse, and people will be very angry because they expect to get, you know, their national health service. They expect that their state pension. And the other thing that they point out in this video is that when governments are desperate for money, which they're not right now because interest rates are low, so they can keep borrowing into the future to pay back their old loans. But when interest rates go up, look out. You know, anyone who's got any savings, they're going to come after it. So that's why it's important to have some assets that are not as easy for governments to get their hands on. And, you know, that's physical gold, physical silver, maybe property abroad in, you know, more stable countries. You have to do your homework on that one. You know, just go on Google and and do it. You know, Sovereign Man, I think .com talks about it. Casey Research talks about, you know, how to diversify internationally. So yeah, so I don't think it matters in the long term who wins next Thursday, June the 8th. No matter what, you know, the UK is in trouble financially. And I'm not slagging the UK off because the US is in the on the same boat. The whole of Europe is on the same boat. Yeah, you know, it's a big problem. So if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, share it far and wide, subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet, follow me also on steemit.com, and if you'd like to donate to my channel, there's some links below in the description. I'll talk to you later. Bye.